As you guys know, at UFC 308, Khamzat Chimaev went out there and absolutely mauled Robert Whittaker and finished him in the first round to earn himself a middleweight title shot. And there are a lot of fans who were Khamzat Chimaev haters, and apparently there was a lot of media members and pundits who were also Khamzat Chimaev haters. And I got multiple comments about the Weighing In podcast with Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy. And I didn't think I'd make a video on this. A few people commented, a couple people messaged me and said, Joe, you got to go check this out. This morning I watched the Weighing In podcast, and we're gonna look at a couple clips in this video. And by the second, I was getting more infuriated listening to Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy absolutely humiliate themselves with just ridiculously stupid claims, talking about, oh, well, basically, Khamzat Chimaev and Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, they want these guys on the top of cards, and Khamzat almost missed weight, which is completely ludicrous to even say, and to pick apart Khamzat Chimaev's resume. And I as I'm watching this, I'm getting so angry and annoyed, which I really shouldn't. I really typically don't get angry, but just, it was so devoid of logic that it was pissing me off. Like, it was infuriating me. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make a video about this. Because one, I forgot they even existed. You know, I was surprised they even were still around. Honestly, I forgot. Two, I don't want to seem like I'm clout chasing, which I think is completely embarrassing to try to put out content to elicit a reaction from somebody potentially bigger than you. But honestly, looking at their channel, it's not that big. And then three, I was like, you know, I'm going to get heated watching this again. And then right as I'm about to turn it off and never do a video about it, Big John McCarthy says the dumbest thing I've ever heard about Magomed Ankalaev. And it just showed me why MMA media and the MMA experts, the MMA pundits, it just shows me why they are dying, why the fan base doesn't care to listen to them. Because this is straight up idiotic analysis from people who would say, Big John McCarthy be like, I wrote the rules. I wrote the rules. I know everything about the rules. I know everything about scoring. I know everything about MMA. I've been around from the beginning. Well, you sound like an idiot in this podcast. And Josh Thompson, I'm a fighter. I used to fight in the UFC. I got wins. In the UFC, I train, bro. Sounds like a complete and utter idiot. And this is why nobody in the fan base cares about these people anymore. It's just why it exists. It's crazy that they can be so uneducated about the sport. And what bothers me the most, and I promise you we're going to get to the podcast in a second. What bothers me the most is I genuinely think it's just lazy analysis. It's like, I don't know what to say. I don't have an independent thought. I have no critical thinking ability. So, you know, let me just kind of prod around online, prod around on Twitter, Instagram comment sections. Let me just regurgitate whatever the majority of people are saying. That's what it felt like to me, just lazy analysis. Let's get into it. I don't want to waste too much time. I will link this full podcast down in the description. I encourage you guys to go check it out. I don't mean to be stealing people's content or anything, but this isn't necessarily something, it may sound personal. I don't know. You know, I don't think anybody's seeing this stuff, but in case they see it, this isn't personal. It may sound personal, but I'm just speaking my mind here. Okay. My bad. But at the end of the day, I'll link it down below. I encourage you guys to go check it out for yourself. But man, I struggled to get through like the 2 minutes that I'm going to show you in this video because it is horrifically dumb and idiotic and drove me nuts. But let's get right into it. Let's listen to the first thing he says. This is Josh Thompson being an absolute Khamzat Chimaev hater and basically saying, well, all he beat was 170ers, and if Whittaker's chin would have held up, who knows what would have happened? What? So if his chin, if Khamzat Chimaev wouldn't have broke his chin, then he still could have fought. Oh, that's great analysis from an expert. Again, this is why MMA media is dying. Let's listen.
I saw, obviously I go through the comments. People are talking like, hey man, like, why do you hate Chimaev? You're always picking against him, this and that. No, it's not a hate Chimaev thing. I love what he's done, man. But look, let's go through this again. And bear with me right here, okay? Kind of follow along. He barely gets past Kamaru Usman after having a full camp and Usman coming off the couch. And let's not forget, even though Usman had a good performance against him, he's still a 70-pounder.
I'm trying not to get this demonetized. This drives me nuts. He barely gets by Usman. He literally 10-8'd Kamaru Usman in the first round. He ragged out him. And he still won the fight. And oh, well, Kamaru Usman came in on short notice. Kamaru Usman is one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. Okay? He was in shape. It's not like he came in looking like Chris Barnett. And nobody gives Khamzat credit. Think about this. Think about this. No one gives Khamzat Chimaev credit for taking a short notice fight against Kamaru Usman. I don't care if he had a training camp or not. He was fighting Paulo Costa. And now he's fighting Kamaru Usman, a totally different stylistic matchup that he did not prepare for. And oh, he's just a 170er. Yeah, Kamaru Usman was one of the greatest welterweights of all time. And in my opinion, he could have arguably still been champ. Leon Edwards got a fluke head kick KO and then cheated in the rematch or the trilogy to keep the title. But let's let him continue.
Okay, even though he can fight at 85, we all know he can. He just showed it. He proved against Khamzat. But he's a 170 pounder. Then you go to Kevin Holland, who is at 170 now. Okay.
Oh, he's at 170 now. Oh, who gives a rat's ass where he's at now? What did he do to him? This is so stupid.
And when they fought, I believe that Kevin Holland had made the weight already at 170 and then was going and basically fought him at 180, I believe, correct?
Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez was added on the card on short notice because the card was so shit, UFC 279. He was already fighting at a catch weight. So he did not make weight at 170 and then go back up. No, he was fighting at a catch weight. Khamzat was told to stop cutting weight. So they said, okay, we'll just book Khamzat versus Kevin Holland. That's it.
Correct? Or 185? Did they agree on 185?
I think it ended up at 185.
I thought they agreed on 180 or whatever.
They might have.
I don't remember exactly what weight it ended up. For some reason, 178 sticks in my head, but it was a catch weight. It was not at middleweight.
Anyways, yeah, but whatever it was, now Kevin...
Matter of fact, we can look. I have Khamzat Chimaev's resume right here. Let's take a look. Kevin Holland. It was 178 pounds. Yep. Or catch weight 180. Of 180, I'm sorry. I'm looking right here. He weighed in at 178 pounds. Let's carry on. So that's why 178 was stuck in my head.
Holland is a 170 pounder. Gilbert Burns, 170 pounder. Okay, great 170 pounder. And it's fought for the title, but he's still a 170 pounder. Now, that was a fight that he made the weight on, I believe. He made that weight on in the Gilbert Burns fight.
No, he did.
He did. So then he missed the Kevin Holland weight action stuff that went on there. The Kamaru Usman fight, a short notice fight. These are all three 170 pounders.
So let's discredit his entire resume. Apparently, if you win fights in another weight class, that can be used to discredit you regardless. I don't get it.
The weight against Li Jiang, he fought him as well, and he ragdolled him. No one's questioning his abilities. But to say that he gets a title shot off of beating a bunch of 70 pounders in the...
He's going to get the title shot.
I know he is.
To say he's going to get a title shot off of beating a bunch of 170 pounders, first off, that is just fucking stupid. He's not getting a title shot off of beating 170ers. He's getting a title shot off of beating Robert Whittaker, a former middleweight champion and one of the greatest middleweights of all time, and ragdolling him and making him his bitch. That's what he's getting a title shot. That combined with a win over Kamaru Usman on short notice is enough to earn a title shot in the middleweight division, where the next most deserving guy, not even the next most deserving guy, but the guy that supposedly deserves it, is on a one-fight win streak against Paulo Costa. But we'll get to Sean Strickland in a second because he brings up Sean Strickland. Let's carry on.
Yeah, you can just feel it in the room.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, John, like he's literally beat a bunch of 70 pounders, but was supposed to be fighting at 85. And now he's not getting a title shot at 170. He's getting a title shot at 185.
I'm literally getting so infuriated. I might have to re-record this video. I'm getting so annoyed. What aggravates me is the lack of logic. Okay, so he built a bit of a resume at 170, and now he came up to 185, and he beat the dog shit out of Robert Whittaker, who arguably was number one contender at the time. Forget the rankings. I don't understand how he doesn't understand this. It's no different than Alex Pereira. Was he complaining about Alex Pereira when Alex Pereira got brutally chinned at middleweight, but he was the champion? He lost the belt. He goes up to 205, gets one win, and then he's fighting for the 205 belt. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's craziness, right? I'm sure he was complaining about that. I don't know what it is about this guy. I could smell it on him. For some reason, and you know what it is? Again, it's nothing personal against these guys. It's like these guys are a conduit to the fan base because there's a lot of fans saying the same dumb shit. A lot of fans. And then he goes on to discredit the win against Whittaker in a second. And it gets worse. This is just infuriating me. He's getting a title shot for a win against Robert Whittaker. Nothing else. Nothing else. Doesn't matter. Forget everything else. Oh, Sean Strickland has 1 win, 1 fight win streak against Paulo Costa, split decision. Shit fight. Who Paulo Costa doesn't even have a win over a fighter on the current UFC roster. Who do we give it to? No, Khamzat has earned his title shot. To act like he hasn't earned it, and then to go on to further discredit him, let's just carry on.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not saying that he's not skilled. And I'm also saying that in that fight with Gilbert Burns, he was exhausted.
I seriously might have to restart this video. I'm literally getting so annoyed right now. Oh, he was exhausted in the 3rd round of a fight against Gilbert Burns 2 years ago in a round that he won. So somehow that makes him not good or not worthy of a title shot. Oh, by the way, I happen to have the scorecards up here. Let's see who won that 3rd round. You guys see? Oh, Chimaev here. Oh, Chimaev here. Oh, Chimaev here. So somehow he's using a fight from years ago, over 2 years ago, against a top-ranked 170er in a round that he won unanimously on every judge's scorecard as a way to discredit him and his resume. Oh, he got exhausted. Oh, maybe because he emptied the tank. He emptied the tank. And I'll never get this. People keep saying, oh, well, he got tired in a 3-round fight, so we got to see how he does in a 5-round fight. Does nobody see the pace that he's putting on? Does nobody see the pace that he's putting on? I just don't get it. Let's carry on to listen to more of this idiotic shit.
And he was also exhausted in the Kamaru Usman fight, who is a 170-pounder.
Oh, God forbid he get exhausted. Did you see what he did in the 1st round? By the way, we can pull up the scorecards for that as well. One judge gave it to Khamzat Chimaev. Which judge gave it to Khamzat Chimaev? One judge gave it to Khamzat Chimaev. The 3rd round, not a whole lot happening. To act like Kamaru Usman somehow dominated. And by the way, all 3 judges 10-8 1st round. So we're questioning his cardio and how that, we're basically discrediting that win against Kamaru Usman because he went out there and put on a crazy pace in the 1st round and slowed down in the fight, but it was enough where at least one judge gave him that round. Just insanity, just idiotic. Continue, you idiot.
Yeah. So, look, I'm not taking away what he did today because what he did today spoke for itself.
All right, ready? He's not taking away what he did today. He's definitely not going to take it away in the next sentence, right? He's definitely not going to take it away in the next couple sentences, right? I'm not taking away what he did today. What he did was amazing.
Absolutely fantastic performance. But we've seen this before where he's dominated round 1 like this. Had that miss happen, or whatever it was with the jaw of Robert Whittaker not happen, he probably would have survived the round, and would we be in the same position?
Did he really just say that? This man is saying, if he wouldn't have destroyed him in the 1st round, we have no idea what would have happened. And he acts like it's some kind of freak accident that Khamzat almost popped Robert Whittaker's head off. Yeah, not taking anything away from him, but, we've seen this before. How is this guy supposed to be an MMA, pundit, MMA, a former fighter, supposed to be giving his analysis? He's supposed to be an analyst here. And he's literally saying, well, if he wouldn't have finished him, he's literally holding a guy to a certain standard that is impossible to reach. And the thing is, this podcast has 37,000 views. How many people are listening to this and agreeing with this? Or like, yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, what would have happened if it got out of the 1st? Well, we don't know. Because Khamzat Chimaev just ragdolled him and mauled him. So stupid, man. This is so stupid, and it gets even worse. We're gonna skip ahead. I can't listen to this anymore. At one point, he does actually praise him, and I'll take a look at that. But it's like, does it really matter if you praise him and then discredit him? Let's carry on.
One gets tired, taller than the other.
My take on Chimaev is there wasn't a big enough sample size. It guy's at 185. Tonight was a good way for him to prove it and print that he deserves a title shot. But you still got 2 guys ahead of him, I believe. You've got Sean Strickland and you've got Izzy.
Did this fucking guy just say Sean Strickland and Izzy? Sean Strickland and Izzy? Izzy's on a 2-fight losing streak now. He lost to Sean Strickland. He lost to Dricus Du Plessis. Sean Strickland's on a 1-fight winning streak against Paulo Costa, who does not have a win against a current UFC roster fighter. And that fight was a split decision, boring-ass fight. Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev just ran through Robert Whittaker. Before that, he ran through, admittedly with a little bit of struggle, Kamaru Usman, a pound-for-pound GOAT in the welterweight division, and Khamzat did it on short notice. Those 2 wins are enough to warrant a middleweight title fight. But let's carry on. There's more.
I honestly believe he should probably fight the loser of the title shot that's going to happen next.
Thank God this guy isn't making any fights. He should fight the loser. What? He should fight the loser of what I'm assuming he's saying is Du Plessis Strickland. Why would he fight the loser of Du Plessis Strickland? If he's going to fight anyone, he should fight someone on a winning streak. You know, if he's going to fight someone, fight Strickland for #1 contender. Strickland wants to cry and whine, I deserve my title shot. Let him fight Khamzat to earn his title shot. If Khamzat beats Strickland, then what? I don't know what this guy has against Chimaev, but he's got something. He's got something against him. I'm telling you right now, I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. Let's carry on.
That's my honest opinion. Who's going to drag him into the deeper water so we can see if he can perform? Look,
again, this guy's supposed to be an analyst. He's holding him back because, oh, well, man, he's got to stop finishing his opponents in the first round. How dare he finish Robert Whittaker in the first round? How are we supposed to know how good he is if he finishes his opponent in the first round? So what happens if he never gets to the deep waters? Then what? What if he always just keeps finishing guys? Pause. Then what? That it just makes no sense. Let's carry on.
If you guys want to fight him for the title, have at it. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, it doesn't. I'm actually kind of encouraged to see him and DDP fight.
Acting as if it's some type of undeserved title shot. I'm telling you, when I watched this at like 6 o'clock this morning, I was getting infuriated by the second. I'm like, there's no way I can do a video on this because it's actually driving me nuts. It's devoid of all logic. It's brainless. I mean, I'm convinced this guy has CTE. I'm diagnosing Josh Thompson with CTE right now. And now I feel really bad. I feel like a dick. And I don't mean to be a dick. Let's carry on.
That'd be a great fight.
Yeah.
DDP's going to have to stop his takedowns. We've seen DDP get tired. We've said, but what we've all...
Before he goes into saying something else dumb, he's right. It'll be a great fight. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. He said something good. I agree with him there.
Also seen is Khamzat's been able to bully people around with his wrestling, and he's a big guy for 185 also. Do you see him standing next to Robert Whittaker?
He barely made weight.
But
he had problems making weight.
He barely made weight. He barely made weight, a.k.a. he weighed in the allotted time period and the allotted weight. Like, this dude didn't shave his beard. He didn't shave his pubes. He didn't shave his head to make weight, okay? He didn't put his fingers on a towel to make weight. Oh, he barely made weight. And Josh Thompson there, see, you see him alluding to him slowing down again. Listen.
DDP get tired.
I've rewinded this.
We said, but what we've also seen is Khamzat's been able to bully people around with his wrestling, and he's a big guy for 185 also. Do you see him standing next to Robert Whittaker?
He barely made weight.
He barely made weight. And in a second here, this dumb fuck has the audacity to say, Whittaker's a 170 too. Luckily, Big John actually corrects him. But that's how stupid this guy is. What is going on here? And this is some of the shit the fan base is saying. Not even that dumb. Honestly, the fan base isn't saying that, the Whittaker stuff. But, yeah, he barely made weight. Let's carry on.
Yeah, but
he had problems making weight.
Yeah, he's huge, though, John.
Yeah,
and when you saw him standing in front of Whittaker, I was like, oh, Whittaker used to be a 70-pounder, too. That's the other thing.
So now, Whittaker was a 70-pounder back in 1995. Oh, so it couldn't be a good win then.
He's now put the weight on.
Yeah, but he's been a 185.
He's been an 85-pounder for a long time. I get it.
So then he's like, oh, that's kind of dumb. I didn't go back and watch it because I literally couldn't. I bet you, I don't know if they make predictions or not, or do some type of pre-fight. I would bet my life, and I'm being dead serious, I have no knowledge of anything that he said prior to this. I would bet my life he was saying Robert Whittaker was going to expose Khamzat Chimaev. I would bet my life. Someone let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. But gun to my head, was Josh Thompson on the Robert Whittaker train? Khamzat was going to get exposed? Gun to my head, I say yes, and I think I live.
Overall, though, great performance tonight by him. Dominant position. Whatever happened to the jaw chin, he caused it.
So finally give some props. Get some props. I agree with him there. Like to hear that. But then immediately back into discrediting him here in a second.
Good on him. I mean, this was a great performance. Something I can say, okay, look, we've seen this part. But the thing is, if I'm a promoter, I'm like, I've seen him win this way before. But what I haven't seen is how he gets it done in the third, fourth, and fifth. Because if I go based off of the Kamaru Usman position,
in the Kamaru Usman, where he went out there and 10-8'd him in the first round, just couldn't get the finish. So, he was a little bit tired in the third round, but still won the third round on one judge's scorecard and still won the fight overall. God forbid you decide to put out a lot of energy in the first to look for a finish.
He started losing in that third round because he was exhausted. It's kind of one of those fights where I got to check and see. I got to go back and take a look at it and see.
Yeah, I'm convinced this guy has CTE. Makes no sense. Horrible analysis, horrible critical thinking skills. And he's probably influencing some people to push this narrative. And had the audacity to say, yeah, Whittaker was a 170 or 2. Now let's carry on. We're going to look at one last little bit here. Because I was going to leave it be. I truly was going to leave it be. And then they start acting more as if it's an undeserved title shot. Then they act as if the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia is going to influence an undeserved title shot. And then Big John McCarthy moves on to the next fight. And this is where it really got me. We'll get to it in a second.
So, if the UFC put him in right now, I understand. I totally understand. It makes sense. You ride with what is hot. And
yeah,
the guy he's hot.
Pause. Did you see Josh Thompson? Yeah. Like, he's so disturbed Khamzat might get a title shot. What is he, sucking Sean Strickland's cock on the side? Is that what he's doing? Is he his boyfriend? Is that what? Maybe that's it. Let me stop. But he was so disgusted. But they're acting as if this is some type of undeserved title shot, like Conor McGregor. Oh, well, Conor's a draw, so let's give him Ilia Topuria, like Ariel Helwani's dumbass has been saying. By the way, if you want me to make a video about that, let me know down in the comments. Ariel's pushing Conor McGregor to fight Ilia Topuria next. I don't even want to get into that. It's damn near 4 a.m. right now. I'm making this video. This is how annoyed I was with this podcast here. But then they act like the Middle East is going to influence it. They're basically implying, I'm putting words in their mouth a little bit here, okay? But I'll let you be the judge of it in a second. They're basically saying Khamzat does not deserve a middleweight title shot, but the Middle East will encourage it with money.
I agree. And, let's not forget that there's a lot of money being poured in right now from the Middle East to have top-level fighters and have them present themselves, to be on these high up on the pay-per-views or, high up on main card, whatever it is. And there's a reason why. And he can perform, man. He can perform. I just want to see him get tested in that third, fourth, fifth round. And
so what happens if he keeps finishing? This is, again, trying to discredit him for finishing fights. This is like the 8th time in a 3-minute period. And I'm telling you, I was watching this. I was getting so angry and so annoyed. I know someone's going to say, Joey, what's wrong? It's not about what he's saying. It is. But it's how it's devoid of logic. And people regurgitate this type of shit. It drives me nuts. That's the one thing that gets me angry. Lack of logic. I don't get angry about anything. Lack of logic drives me nuts. And I was going to let this slide. Because I was like, nah, I'm going to be too angry. Big John McCarthy jumps in here in a second and starts saying the dumbest shit I ever heard in my entire life. And I was like, okay, I got to make this video. Let's continue.
In a title fight, in a 5-round title fight.
Did he not say he's living in Abu Dhabi now?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, get ready for it. We're going to move on to the next fight. This is where Big John McCarthy says the dumbest thing ever.
That's what I got. So good on him,
though.
They
definitely are going to have him on the card instead of somebody else.
Yeah, I want to see him, in whether a title fight or another 5-round main event.
Another 5-round main event. Has he even been in a 5-round main event? No, he hasn't. He's in a 5-round co-main event multiple times, twice, I believe. I don't think he's been in a 5-round main event ever. But that's clutching at straws there, okay? That's being a little bit picky, but let's continue.
Against either Izzy or Sean if Sean loses, or DDP if he loses. Whoever loses the title shot coming up next.
All right, last dumb thing from Josh Thompson. Let's hear Big John. I thought it was right around the corner. Dumb. Why would we want to see him against Izzy? Why would we want to see him against Sean off a loss or DDP off a loss? He's 14-0, undefeated, bunch of finishes, beat a former champion. Let's put him in the title shot. But let's get to the next fight. What does Big John McCarthy have to say about Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic?
I'd like to see him fight that person.
Okay.
Whoever that is.
All right, we had Magomed Ankalaev taking on Alexander Rakic. And like I said, if you're going to go on a bathroom break, this is the perfect time to go when you're watching Ankalaev fight, because I don't want to say anything bad about it, because he put on a good performance.
I'm watching this shit right now. I want to go on a bathroom break. This is the most fucking stupid podcast I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. I'm going to get demonetized on this video. That was some of the stupidest shit I've ever. Yeah, if you want to go on a bathroom break, go on why is Ankalaev versus Rockets. First off, that was a good fight, okay? Third round was shit. Rockets was trying to stall it out because his corner told him he was up 2 rounds. He ran the first 2 rounds, but Magomed Ankalaev was tracking him down, landing good shots. These guys are not analysts. These guys, I'm not even convinced they watch the sport. I'm not even convinced they watch the sport because they are pushing the dumb-ass narrative that Magomed Ankalaev is boring. He's not boring. He's not boring. Let's actually, you know what? Let's go to Tapology real quick. Not that this proves that he isn't boring, but let's go to Tapology real quick. Let's go to Magomed Ankalaev. Okay, first off, the Rockets fight was not boring. Second off, the Johnny Walker fight, he brutally KO'd him. Meme KO'd him. Second off, third off, fourth off, whatever the hell it is, 20 wins in MMA, 11 finishes. But because Dana White and the fans have ran with the narrative that Ankalaev is boring solely because he's Dagestani, that dumb fuck is just regurgitating it. It's infuriating to me. Jan Blachowicz fight was entertaining regardless of what Dana White says. Anthony Smith fight destroyed him. Thiago Santos fight, okay, a little bit boring. None of these other fights were boring. But he's like, yeah, bathroom break here. Bathroom break here. And it goes on a little bit more. We'll listen to a little bit more. But I can't even watch this shit anymore. I'm going to go on a bathroom break. It's the worst podcast I've ever watched.
Put pressure. He went after it. Josh, there's just so much more that this guy can do. He won't do it. It's just crazy.
Does it remind you of someone named John Fitch?
Oh, my God. Does it not? Just in reverse.
I don't think I can post this video. I really don't. You know what? I'm just going to finish this video out. I don't care. This man just compared Ankalaev to John Fitch and acted like that was a fair comparison. I am convinced these two know nothing about the sport. I don't know if Big John ever competed, but not that you need to compete to know about the sport. That's not what I'm saying, but is he how many concussions has he had throughout the course of his life? Because I'm convinced he has CTE as well. To compare Ankalaev to John Fitch, who was your typical lay and pray, kind of stereotypical boring wrestler, to Ankalaev, who's primarily a striker, who has brutal KO power, who has finished more than half of his fights, is devoid of all logic. Is devoid of all logic. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't even know. I can't watch any more of this shit. This podcast is horrible. I'll link it down in the description. I know, maybe I was a little bit harsh on it, but I don't care. I don't care. These people are pushing this to an audience. And I know people are going to say, Joey, you're a Dagestani defender and blah, blah, blah. No, it's just a stupid narrative. It's stupid. And these guys are supposed to be experts. These are the first guys that would say, oh, look at this fat guy. He doesn't train. He doesn't know shit. These guys are stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. This podcast is going to die. How long has this podcast been around? It's going to die soon, I'm sure. So let me know what you guys think. Am I being too harsh? Maybe I'm just tired right now. I haven't slept. And this really actually bothered me, which I shouldn't have let it bother me, but it did. So maybe I was a little bit too crazy, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I debated about not posting this, so this may never even get posted. I may just re-record it tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. It might get out. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.